Let's try this problem. Sine theta equals negative 0.8480. And I want to solve that one. I want to find the angle theta. But here's my restriction. Theta is between 0 and 360. What I'm asking you is to give me all the angles, maybe more than one, between 0 degree and 360 degrees where the sine equals negative 0.8480. Well, how are we going to figure out what the value is? Oh, that's straightforward. Just take your calculator out. If you're looking for the angle, you do the inverse sine. So, okay, where's my calculator here? Inverse sine. Negative, that was a negative here, right? Negative 0.8480. And the calculator says negative roughly 58 degrees. Nearest whole number is 57.99. First, that answer is not acceptable. Why? Because they're telling me to use positive values between 0 and 360. So what is the coterminal angle of negative 58? Remember coterminal? I need to know what the coterminal angle of negative 58. When you graph that negative 58, the angle is somewhere here. It's a negative. This is the negative 58. But I don't want to use a negative value because the problem says use positive value bigger than 0, less than 360. Negative 58 does not fit that. So the coterminal of this angle is if you travel this way, if you go in that direction, what's the value of that angle? So I don't want to use this. That's not good. It's a negative value. So what do? Isn't that 360 minus the 58 degrees? Because 360 will take you all the way back to this line. Now backtrack 58 degrees. Which 360, not 36? So theta will have to be what? What's 360 minus 58? Is it 302? So 360 minus 58. That's still not the right answer. That's a half right. Is that the only angle that fits that? Well, we have another one. Remember, all stores take cash. All stores take cash. I'm talking about the sine, just because the problem is dealing with the sine here. The sine is positive in this quadrant. The sine is positive in this quadrant. The sine is negative in this quadrant. The sine is negative in this quadrant. So there must be another answer in this quadrant. And how would you find out what that answer is? Imagine if you take that paper and fold it along this line. If we take this and fold it. Actually, let me do this to this problem. Let me make it a little bit thick line. I want you to see it. Hopefully bled through the paper. I want it to bleed through the paper. Now if I take that and fold it along this line, Here's my paper. I'm going to fold it along the y-axis. Do you see that ink? Can you see that? See, there's one right in this quadrant. Right there. That's the other angle. So if you extend that line, I can see the smudge already on the paper. I don't know if you can see the smudge, but I can see it here. And that's this one. So I have two angles. I got that one, the calculator gave me that one, but it's not giving me this one. So I got to find that myself. Well, what is that angle? When you measure it here, what's the value of that? How do we figure what that number is? So the other one is going to be what? Well, that angle is going to be, well, from here to here is what? 180. And you need to go beyond that by how much? 58. The size of this, the same as that one. So now, what's 180 plus 58? 238, is it? And 302. So both of these should have a sign equals to negative 0.848, or close enough, because I rounded the number. Let's try that. Let's see if that's correct. What is the sign of 238? Is it negative 0.848? Negative 0.8480. Can you see it? And let me try the sine. What's the sine? What was the other angle? 302? Negative 0.8480. So when we give you a trig function, we say, can you give me all the values? You have to give me not just one number, two numbers. Make sure when you see a problem like this that says, I don't want your answer to be a negative value, so you're going to give me the coterminal of that number. When it says negative 58, that's not good. The coterminal of negative 58 is positive 302. Remember what coterminal? The angle that has the same initial side and the same terminal side. So the negative 58 has the initial side here, the terminal side here. The positive 302 has the initial side here and the positive side here. Let me try another one. Let me take another example. You might see a problem that looks like this. Tangent theta equals 0.932 and sine of theta is less than 0. Theta between 0 and 360. Now we pinpoint the problem. Why? Which quadrant? The tangent is positive and the sine is negative. Sine, cosine, tangent. All stores take cash. Only the sine is positive and these two are negative. The question is, find the angle where the tangent is positive, the sine is negative. We pinpoint that to quadrant number 3. So the answer, we're looking for one angle. It has to be in quadrant 3. That's the only quadrant where the tangent is positive and the sine is negative. So you're not going to have two answers here. So I go to my calculator, I go, oh, I got to find theta. Theta is what? The inverse tangent of 0.932. So here's my calculator. Inverse tangent, second tangent, 0.932. $42.98, so I'll round that to what? 43 degrees. And that will be the wrong answer here. Why? Because my answer is supposed to be which quadrant? Quadrant 3. What I did there, I told you where the tangent is positive. I know the tangent is positive here. But the sine is positive here also, and the cosine is positive here. So when I type the inverse tangent of 0.932, the calculator gave me an answer right there. I'm not interested in that one. I want it where the sine is negative in this quadrant. So for the tangent, once you have one angle, the tangent is different. You don't fold the paper. You just extend the line for the tangent. Because your tangent is positive here and here, negative here and here. So if this is 43 degree, which is, I don't want that, that's not the correct answer. Because this does not satisfy this condition. The sine is not negative there. I need the sine to be negative. So what is the angle then? The correct angle should be this one. So what is theta then will have to be? What's that value? Can we figure it out? It's 180 plus what? The 43. Because if you start from here, you're going to go 180 degrees to get here, and this the same size as this. These two. So that's equal to what? 223 degrees. Let's see if we are right. Is the tangent of 223 equals that number? And is the sine negative? If it is, I'm happy. We got the right answer. So here we go. Tangent, 223 degrees. 0.9325. Yes. So that's okay. What about the sine? The sine of 223, is that a negative number? Yes, it is. The sine is negative, the tangent is positive. Notice the tangent is positive and the sine is negative for that angle. If I use the 43, the sine will not be negative. The sine will be positive. Let's try another one. Let me modify this. Cosine theta equals 0.4003. I'm going to put a little twist in it. Theta between 0 and 2 pi. I can't really write both equal, so one of them is equal. Greater than 0 and less than or equal to 2 pi. When you see 0 to 2 pi, what does that mean? They want you to be in what? Radian mode. Not degrees. When you see 0 to 2 pi, you gotta switch the mode on your calculator to radian. And use positive values, no negative. Bigger than 0, less than 2 pi. So again, when I draw my axes here, before I attempt to solve it, this is the 0 radian, this is the pi over 2, 90 degrees. This is the pi. This is the 3 pi over 2, 1.5 pi. When you do a full circle, how many pi is that? 2 pi. So 0 goes back to 2 pi. So I go to my calculator, I said, okay, let me find theta. They give me the answer. I want to find the angle. I need to take the inverse cosine of 0.4003. And if you're not sure what these numbers are, take your calculator and divide them. This is roughly 1.57, approximately. That squiggly line means approximately. This is approximately 3.14. This is approximately 4.71. 2 times 3.14. That's approximately 6.28. So when we get an answer, it's like 0.57. I know between 0 and 1.5. If you say between 0 and pi over 2, I might struggle with that, because I don't know what pi over 2 is. So let me go back to my calculator, make sure I'm in radian mode, not degrees now. Inverse cosine 0.4003. 1.16. Notice 1.16 is less than 159, basically. It is less than 1.57, so I know I'm in the first quadrant. And that angle is good. It's a positive number, and it's between 0 and 2 pi. So that answer is good. Is that the only answer? No. You always have two answers, unless you're on the line, on the axes. Well, what's the other number? Now, this is the cosine. Remember, with the sine, we folded the paper along the y-axis with the sine. With the tangent, we extend the line. With the cosine, we're going to fold the paper along the x-axis. Why? Because going back to all stores, take cash. Your cosine is positive in this quadrant, and your cosine is positive in this quadrant. So if you fold that to this side, your cosine is going to be negative. So it's not going to be in this axis, it's going to be down here. Again, if we do this, make it like a little thick line with a smudge on it. There we go. And hopefully we'll see, once we fold that paper, you'll see an image of it. Can you see that image? Right there. Straight down. So when you fold that paper, you're going to have an image right there. And now the question, now you can't use a negative value because it says plus here. You got to read it this way. What is this value? So what's the other angle is going to be? And the other one should be, well, to go all the way from here is what? That's a 2 pi. You need to subtract from it what? 1.159. Because the size of this opening is the same size as this. So all the way to here is 2 pi. Take away from it 1.159. And let me go to my calculator. 2 pi minus 1.159. It's 5.124. So I have two angles that satisfy that one. Again, to test it, there's my calculator. Plug them in. Take the cosine, I'm in radian mode. 1.159. 0.4002. Little rounding error. Take the cosine of 5.124. 0.40086. So again, the rounding error, just a hair. Because I'm getting 0.4001 when you round this, another one 0.4003. So somewhere there in that neighborhood, that's where the answer is. If I carried all the digits, you will see it's now 1.159. Nope. Notice 1.158952131. So if I use all these numbers, I will have a better answer. I'll hit it right on the money. And the other will be 2 pi minus that number. Just to show you, if I did really use all the digits, and the other one is going to be 2 pi minus that number. I just switch them to plus. So these are the two answers. These are the angles. If I want to carry all the digits. Now if I take the cosine of them, I should hit on the money. .4003. Notice 299999999. That's a 3. Can you see it? And if I use the other number, cosine 5.124233177. 0.400300000003. Those are the angles, the two angles that have a cosine equals 0.4003. Again, just a quick reminder, when you have the sine, once you find one, your calculator is only going to give you an answer in the first or in the fourth quadrant. It's not going to give you this or that. It's always this or this. For the sine, you're going to fold the paper along the y-axis, you get the other angle. For the cosine, you're going to fold the paper along the x-axis to get the other angle. And for the tangent, just extend the line. And that will give you the other angle. Now, if they put a restriction, now they might put a restriction like the next one. I'll give you another one. Then in that case, they're looking for 1. We go in cotangent, here we go. Equals negative 3256, and cosecant theta is greater than 0, and theta between 0 and 360. Now, if I grab my sheet from somewhere floating around here, who is positive, who is negative, right there. I need to know where the cotangent is negative and the cosecant is positive. Cotangent is negative, cosecant is positive. What do you know? I spotted it right here. See that? Cotangent is negative, cosecant is positive. That's the only quadrant. So which quadrant are we going to be in? 2. I'm only interested in that answer, in quadrant 2. So we're talking about a quadrant 2, and the calculator is going to give me something somewhere else. So it should be in quadrant 2, the solution. So let's see what the calculator is going to give me. The cotangent, I got a problem. There is no cotangent on my calculator. But wait a minute, cotangent is what? 1 over the tangent. So I can turn the cotangent to 1 over tangent theta equals negative 0.3256, make it over 1. Cotangent is 1 over tangent. We talked about that last class. Now, if you take that cotangent, that 1 over tangent, flip it, what are you going to have? You'll have tangent theta over 1. And if you remember, when you have an equation, whatever you do to one side, you got to do the same thing to the other side. So if you flip this side, you got to flip that side. So tangent theta divided by 1 is what? Tangent theta. What is a positive divided by a negative? That's a negative, and let's see what that number is. 1 divided by 0.3256. 3.071253. That's plenty. I got enough digits here. Can we figure out what theta is? To get theta, what do? We take the inverse tangent. Second tangent. And the calculator is saying, I forgot to put it in degree mode. Let me switch the mode first. Second tangent of what? Negative 3.071253. And I came up with negative 71.96. So roughly negative 72 degrees. Well, negative 72, which quadrant? That's in the bottom here. And we know that's not where the angle is. The angle in which quadrant? Quadrant 2. This is a tangent question now. You just solved the tangent problem. You see it? For the tangent, to get the other angle, what do? Extend the line. So if you extend your line, do you get an angle now in the second quadrant? That's where the angle is. So what's the value of this angle? So that's the wrong one. That's first negative. That can't be negative. The other problem is in the fourth quadrant. That can't be. So two problems with this answer, not just one. It's giving me a negative number, and this one says use only positive numbers, use degrees, and I know my answer in the second, and this one tells me the fourth quadrant. So I got to fix that. So let me fix it. Well, how do you get what that angle is? Well, if I travel all the way to here, how far did I go? How many degrees? 180. But I need to subtract from it now what? I need to go back the size of this opening. And how big that opening? 72 degrees, right? Same size this one. Which is what? 108 degrees? And 108 is a number that's bigger than 0, less than 360, and is in the second quadrant. And that'll be the correct answer to that question.